What if I told you there are single-player games out there that were so ahead of their time, they're still better than most stuff we get today? Yeah, these are the hidden gems, the misunderstood masterpieces, and the bold experiments that actually worked. Today, we're diving into 10 single-player games that didn't just age well, they're still setting the bar today. So, let's dive in. Let's talk about a game that most people agree is already a legend, The Witcher 3. Even without mods, this game dropped with one of the most detailed open worlds and some of the best storytelling we've ever seen. But here's the twist. Someone in the modding community decided that wasn't enough and gave us a full first-person mode. And it's not just a cool gimmick, it changes everything. Walking through the streets, riding across the countryside, fighting monsters, it hits completely different when you're seeing it all through Geralt's eyes. It feels like a whole new game, and even if you've played it before, this mod gives you a solid reason to dive back in. The level of detail still holds up today, from the lighting and animations to the way every village feels lived in. With first-person view, you start noticing stuff you probably missed the first time. And the best part? You can switch back to third-person anytime. If you're one of those players who skipped it because you're not into third-person games, this mod makes it feel way closer to something like Skyrim, but with better characters, deeper choices, and a world that actually reacts to what you do. Honestly, it's proof of how much impact the modding community can have. Metro 2033 drops you into a world that feels like it's already lost hope. After a nuclear war wipes out the surface, what's left of humanity hides in the tunnels underneath Moscow. Yeah, entire cities built in subway stations, living in constant fear of radiation, monsters, and each other. You play as a guy named Artyom, born into this chaos who's never even seen sunlight. The game throws you into pitch-black tunnels, creepy ruins, and tight corridors where danger is always one bad decision away. Ammo is rare, gas mask filters are limited, and every shot counts. What really makes Metro stand out isn't just the gameplay, it's the way it makes you feel. Every corner is packed with tension. Every NPC feels like a real person trying to survive. And the story goes deep, with moral choices that actually matter, and an atmosphere that never lets you relax. Now, the enemy AI, especially the human enemies, isn't the smartest. That's one of the few weak spots. But honestly, it doesn't ruin the experience. Even today, Metro 2033 holds up. It's gritty, it's intense, and honestly, it does the whole post-apocalyptic vibe better than most modern games. If you're into story-driven shooters or survival games like Stalker, this one's a no-brainer.
Shoot out the window or you'll all die!
Battlefield 4 is mostly known for its chaotic multiplayer, but let's not sleep on the single-player campaign. It's short, sure, but packed with explosive set pieces and some genuinely intense moments. You're dropped into high-stakes missions across places like Shanghai and Baku, with bullets flying and buildings collapsing all around you. It's the kind of action that keeps your pulse up from start to finish. While most players stuck around for the massive online battles, the campaign delivered that blockbuster vibe with a solid mix of stealth, shootouts, and cinematic storytelling. And let's be real, some of those missions feel straight out of a Hollywood action flick. And let's not forget, this game pushed the Frostbite engine hard. The level of destruction, lighting, and weather effects was insane for its time. Watching a skyscraper crumble mid-battle, or having a storm change how a firefight plays out was groundbreaking. Even today, Battlefield 4 still has an active community, especially on Steam. That says a lot about how well the game holds up. And, yeah, with Battlefield 2042 finally getting on track, fewer people might stick with 4. But if you've never played the campaign, now's the perfect time to jump in. It's fast, fun, and totally worth your time. Mad Max dropped in 2015, right alongside the release of Fury Road, and somehow it slipped under the radar for a lot of people. Which is crazy because this game absolutely nails the post-apocalyptic vibe with one of the most badass open worlds out there. You start off with nothing. No car, no gear, no allies, just a desert full of danger and a will to survive. Everything's scarce. You've got to scavenge for water, fuel, and scrap if you want to stand a chance. And once you get your first vehicle, that's when the real game begins. The vehicular combat is brutal and customization goes deep. It's all about building your own war machine and owning the wasteland. The world itself is massive and feels alive, with storms that roll in out of nowhere, random encounters, and enemy camps that actually change depending on your actions. Mad Max didn't just look amazing. It played like a blueprint for future open-world survival games. Long before the genre exploded, this one was already doing it right. If you skip this one thinking it was just a movie tie-in, do yourself a favor and go back. It's cheap now, runs great, and honestly, it holds up better than most games released today. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And if you want to go the extra mile, becoming a channel member helps a ton and gives you early access to all future videos. Thanks for the support, and now, back to the video. Most people have never even heard of the Saboteur, and honestly, that's a shame. This game took the open-world formula and flipped it on its head with a mix of stealth, sabotage, and one of the boldest visual styles ever put in a game. Set in Nazi-occupied Paris during World War II, the world starts off completely black and white. But every time you push back against the enemy, blow up a tower, liberate a zone, or spark a rebellion, the world slowly regains its color. It's a brilliant way of showing progress without a single word of dialogue. You play as Sean Devlin, an Irish race car driver turned underground resistance fighter. Yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. You climb buildings, sneak past patrols, sabotage tanks, and pick your own path through a city under siege. And the noir vibes? Straight out of Sin City. It's gritty, it's stylish, and it totally stands out from other war games that just throw you into constant firefights. The Saboteur gave you freedom, how to approach missions, where to go, what to take down next. But what really made it special was the atmosphere. It made you feel like a rebel in a world that wanted you gone. Sadly, it never got the recognition it deserved. Maybe the unique look was too weird for the time, or maybe people just didn't get it. But looking back now, it's one of those games that clearly came out a few years too early. Max Payne 3 is one of those games that hits different. It's raw, it's brutal, and honestly, it's kind of shocking how many people skipped it. This was Rockstar at their most cinematic, throwing you into a gritty, drug-soaked spiral through the mind of a broken man who's way past rock bottom. You're not some superhero here. You're Max, older, slower, drowning in painkillers and guilt, but still deadly as hell. The storytelling? Sharp, dark, and emotional. Every shootout feels like a scene ripped straight from a crime thriller. And that bullet time? Still unmatched. Slowing down the chaos, diving through gunfire, landing headshots mid-air, it never gets old. What makes Max Payne 3 stand out isn't just the action. It's the atmosphere, the pacing, the little moments between the bloodshed where you really feel how far this guy has fallen. It's stylish, violent, and way deeper than most shooters even try to be. If you missed it back in the day, now's the time to fix that.
There had to be another way out through the VIP lounge. Rich fools love a private exit.
Thousands of them, I mean, too many to count. All I could think was...
When Days Gone first showed up, it looked like it was going to be the zombie game to watch. A massive open world, brutal survival mechanics, and hordes, like actual endless hordes, of the undead. It was wild. But then, it launched. And yeah, it was rough. Bugs, performance issues, and some stiff character moments held it back. But here's the thing. Over time, Days Gone became something special. The weather system, the bike mechanics, the freedom to play it your way, it all clicked. You weren't just blasting zombies. You were scavenging, surviving, fixing your bike, managing fuel, dealing with dynamic threats, and getting pulled into a world that actually felt alive. Or better yet, infected. The scale of those hordes is still unmatched. And that moment when you hear them coming before you even see them, that's survival horror at its finest. And underneath all the chaos was a surprisingly emotional story about loyalty, loss, and trying to hold on to something human when everything's gone to hell. Sure, it never got the sequel it deserved. Sony didn't give it much of a chance, but in hindsight, Days Gone did way more right than it got credit for. If this game dropped during the peak of the zombie craze, it would have blown up, no doubt.
Check. Cryogenic life support systems.
Rage dropped back in 2011, but even now, it feels like a game that never got the love it deserved. Set in a brutal, post-apocalyptic wasteland after an asteroid wipes out most of the planet, you wake up to a world barely hanging on, full of chaos, mutants, and warlords fighting for control. It's got serious Fallout vibes, mixed with the speed and attitude of Borderlands. What made Rage stand out wasn't just the setting, it was the feel. The gunplay was fast, tight, and surprisingly modern for the time. You weren't just running through hallways shooting stuff. You had vehicle combat, open areas to explore, side missions, racing, crafting. It was packed. And the visuals? For a 2011 game, Rage looked ridiculously good. Animations were smooth, character models had real personality, and the world felt gritty and alive. There were towns, desert roads, underground labs. Every corner had something going on. It didn't hit big when it launched, and yeah, it had its flaws. But looking back, Rage was trying things that most shooters wouldn't even touch until years later.
I'm gonna bleed.
Next up is Rise, Son of Rome. This game had no business looking as good as it did back in the day. Seriously, it dropped with next-gen visuals that still hold up today. Brutal combat, insanely detailed character models, and a level of polish most games can't even match now. But here's the catch. It launched at the wrong time and got buried fast. Rise was all about cinematic storytelling. You were living through a Roman revenge epic, swinging swords, leading legions, and slicing through enemies with those slow-motion executions that felt straight out of a movie. Yeah, the gameplay was linear, but that wasn't really the point. It was the vibe, the presentation, the ambition. People judged it hard for what it wasn't, instead of appreciating what it did right. And what it did was deliver one of the most immersive, visually jaw-dropping action games of its generation. The first Space Marine is pure chaos in the best way possible. Brutal, fast, and unapologetically intense. You're thrown right into the heart of a war zone. No time for questions, no time for mercy. It's just you, your weapons, and a horde of orcs standing between you and victory. This isn't your typical third-person shooter. It blends ranged combat and melee in a way that feels seamless, like you're controlling an unstoppable force. You'll charge through trenches, defend outposts alongside regular soldiers, and tear through enemies with brutal executions that never get old. Set in the gritty world of Warhammer 40k, Space Marine nails the tone, dark, hopeless, and full of rage. You're not a hero, you're a weapon, and the game makes you feel like it. The scale is massive, the fights are intense, and every battle feels like you're holding the line between survival and total annihilation. And the best part? After years of silence, Space Marine 2 is finally real. It dropped at the end of 2024, and if you missed the first one, now's the perfect time to jump in. So, which of these underrated gems do you think was truly ahead of its time? Or maybe there's one you love that didn't make the list. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If you had a good time with this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.